Hey guys, welcome back to Wired Customs YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going over different options for wiring up your race car. Alright, so let's start with the different switch panels here. A lot of guys like the flip toggles, push button starts, stuff like that. So we got two different options for you here. This one's from Jags, this one's from Painless. Painless is always pretty expensive, but their quality is always there. So this one from Jags is more affordable, a little bit more clunky looking. It all depends on what style you like. Flip switches with the red lights here when it switches on. Then we have switches here built in with lights. Some stay on, some are just a quick release push button. So push button start there. I like this push button start. It's just a big old button, so that's pretty nice. These are two good options. Both of them have lights. I like on a race car, when you flip something, the light comes on. Like if you turn your coil on, you have a light saying, hey, the coil's on. We don't want to park the car and leave the coil on and burn the coil up. We've all done that. If you guys build cars or had old cars for a long time, we've all burned up a coil, so we want to try to avoid that. Now we have two different wiring harnesses here from Haywire. This is your hardcore race car harness. So this is really awesome. It's going to work with these switches really well. So we have fuel pump relays. We have water pump relays, so you can have electric water pump. We have fuel pump relays, electric fans, two electric fans, and a couple other things on here. This is really, really nice. So what I love about this is set up to work with these toggle switches perfectly. So we have our fuel pump signal. Let's give that as an example here. So we have a power that's going to go out to all the switches. All the switches right here are going to run off the same power wire. And when you flip this switch, it's going to turn on this red light here, letting you know that it's on. And this power is going to come back to the signal side and ground out on the signal side here. This signal is going to flip a relay and turn electric fan on or turn a fuel pump on. So we have a nice race car here with good switches with identifications on what's on. But we are also running relays, so your race car is not dangerous. This is really good on the early Fords when it's like something simple like this, where it just needs a coil, a fan, a fuel pump, stuff like that. I love throwing this in there. It's simple. It's like stupid affordable. Keeps your car safe, guys. So that's always the biggest thing when it comes to wiring. Make sure your car stays safe and reliable. This is going to keep it safe and reliable right here. So check this out, the Haywire drag panel fuse box. So that's awesome setup. Now, the car that we're working on is going to be a drag car, hardcore drag car, but they do want to still be capable of driving it on the street. So we're going to need blinkers, horns, stuff like that. Well, that's exactly what this is. This gives you a little bit more than what the drag panel does. This is the Pro T wiring harness. So let's see what's on here real quick. We have blinkers, hazard, horn, park lights, turn signal, accessory, electric wipers. So this is going to run everything else on our drag car here. We have a 71 Nova, super cool, 1,000 horsepower car, but we still want to be able to drive it on the streets and be NHRA compliant at the same time. So this is going to get us there. These are great option, guys. Check Haywire out if you haven't already. They have great setups for any vehicle that you have. Now, what I love about their setups is these are both generic. My 21 circuit that I get from them is generic. What that means is it doesn't have specialty connectors on it. They have really nice connectors on it, but it's not Ford specific, Chevy specific, other than the column. Column is always GM column, because that's the most common aftermarket column. And super easy. They come with column connectors inside their wiring kits. So you can hook up the column, whatever you have. If you have a 71 Mustang or 71 Nova and you're using the original column, you can still wire that into the Haywire harness, because they give you everything you need to make that connection, to make that connector. So that's really, really cool. So definitely consider this, and watch out for a couple videos of us installing this here in the future. Now let's take a closer look at Painless's roll bar switch. This is what it looks like in the box. Pretty clean. We have a couple different access holes for the wires, both sides through the back and out through the bottom. So we have a good selection of where we want the wire to come out at. It's going to mount to the roll bar with these hose clamps, which is okay. You can't really see it. It's a race car, how fancy you want it to be, right? Or of course, you can make yourself a plate, weld it to the roll bar and screw this in. Now, I'm going to say I don't know every single rule for every single drag strip or how the NHRA actually does all the specifics on the roll bar. So look it up for yourself about how it should be mounted or how it could be mounted. But the switch looks really nice. I really enjoy the looks of this switch. Start, push button, ignition on with the light on the switch, electric fan on, fuel pump. So we have a momentary contact switch here so we can prime it, then start it up. That's how you want to do it. So 2 lights here, 2 fuel pump switches. So same thing, prime, on, looks really nice. Water pump, electric water pump. Most race cars have that. So that's going to turn that off, on and off. So we have our lights. There are 2 switches here. So I'm guessing you could do park lights, then you could do park lights and headlights right there all together. So with just a simple diode, you can get that to work really easily. Then we have an accessory on and off. So this is a pretty nice box. I think it looks good. It just depends on if you like this type of toggle switches or not. But when it comes to quality, of course, there's good quality there. Paintless is usually pretty good about that. Now, another thing about the paintless is it comes with all these wires already crimped. And it comes with the connections, so you can make a nice proper connection right here on the roll bar. So that's going to be nice. So of course, as usually with paintless, good quality parts. So here's the Jegs roll cage switch box. Now this is cool. It has fuses on the top. Nice steel switches. I like having steel in there. That's nice. So something about a steel switch. This feels good. Feels sturdy. We have our fuses up here. I don't know why we'd want fuses because we're actually going to run a fuse box and relays. So here's our fuse box for this type of setup and our relays for everything. But, you know, a little overkill. I guess that's okay. But I still recommend running relays and actual fuse box. It just makes it a little bit safer. But if you just wanted to turn on some LEDs, you can just bring a power wire up here, switch it on, turn on your LEDs. We have our light bulb indicator here letting you know that's on, and it has its own fuse. So depends how you want to set this up. We have a push button for a push button start, so we can flip a coil on, boom, start the car up. And I think this box looks pretty nice. It's also going to be held on with hose clamps. That's how they set it up. So you don't really have any other options on this one other than hose clamps itself. And it does not come with hose clamps. And it does not come with any kind of special connector. These are all my wires that I made on the back of these switches. So it didn't come with any fancy wires for anything on this. So I had to literally wire this up myself on the inside. So we have our push button. We have power in for everything, power out for everything. And I put a little black strip on here, kind of like a ground wire, but that just lets me know in and out. So I set that all up myself. And it did not come that way. So that's the difference in the price and quality and looks. So you're having a good idea on what you want to pick for your roll cage switch bar, which I think both look cool. Both have their own ups and downs. But something about a steel switch feels good. I wish the paintless had a setup like this, similar with a steel switch. I think that would look really nicely. So here's a closer look at the Haywire 4-relay drag panel. This is going to be good for those race car type setups. You don't get a giant wiring harness with this. It does come with wires to make your connections, but it's not a 21 circuit overbearing type setup for something like a race car or early Ford that doesn't really need much, especially like a Model A, stuff like that, guys. So this is nice and simple. So water pump, fuel pump, 2 fans, and a couple of fuses for these studs down here. So whatever you want to use it for, you're good to go. So now over here, we have all the different things that are on here. Water pump, fuel pump, fan, and fan number 2. So this is set up really nice, really organized, and really all we have to do is just run power and ground to this and run some signals out. So our signal switches. I really like this fuse box. I really love Haywire's organization and keeping things simple and affordable. That's something to be said, especially from a company where everything here is made in America. So here's another look at the Haywire Pro T wiring system. This comes with all the wires connected in it already. So it's going to be a nice, easy, simple setup. Horn relay, so you can mount that up here real nice. Really simple, guys. Brake lights, hazards, horn, park lights, turn signals, accessory, and our flashers. So really quick and easy setup. So if you just want to throw some blinkers in something like a drag car, we can do that, and we can still connect this to our aftermarket steering column or the original steering column. So super simple, guys. Keep it simple, keep it organized, and you will thank yourself later. Thank you for watching. Now that you have this information, get out in your garage and get your shift together.